tell us if the university is happy to partner with the Ministry of Finance in this very important exercise. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome ABC Professor Gordon Awandari.
Thank you, Bernard. If we're in Presec, you do some jumping jacks for mispronouncing my name. Good morning to you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Minister of State at the Ministry of Finance, Honorable Abinose Sari, who's representing the Minister for Finance, Honorable Deputy Minister, distinguished guests from industry, academia, and the public service, deans, directors, heads of department, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, it's a great honor for me to represent the Vice Chancellor and to read the compositions of the panels. You realize that we have, quite a distinguished of the day. Honorable Minister, distinguished panelists, invited guests, the topic for this maiden edition Economic Roundtable is restoring macroeconomic stability. And like I mentioned, there's no better time for this. A stable macroeconomy provides the platform that enables businesses, domestic and foreign investment to spur our long-term economic growth. As a university, we are incredibly proud that the Honorable Minister had this vision to engage with the university and to tap into the expertise of our distinguished professors. Honorable Minister, these challenging times have resulted from a combination of long-standing domestic challenges and major external shocks. And these culminated in the country seeking assistance from the International Monetary Fund for the 17th time in 2022. A key objective of the IMF program is to restore macroeconomic stability. It is not lost on Ghanaians that restoring macroeconomic stability has always been the number one objective of all our IMF programs. However, the fact that we've done this 16 times already, and yet we keep going back, this suggests that perhaps the long-term solution does not lie elsewhere, but it lies within us as policymakers, as economists, and as researchers. After all, we in Ghana understand our economy better, and as has been the case lately, Honorable Minister, distinguished guests, it seems to us that the measures being implemented by the IMF program are bearing some fruits as the macroeconomy seems to be stabilizing. The pace of inflation has slowed down for a second consecutive month, and prices appear to be moderating. However, many challenges remain. We know that the city is still under pressure, and increasingly, the recent strength of the dollar has also added more pressure to the city. Honorable Minister, I invite all for us to spend the next 2 or 3 years trying to take painful corrective measures. I understand that economists call this the political business cycle. This cycle undoubtedly negatively affects every Ghanaian household and business. It is our expectation that today's deliberations would help find practical solutions to this political business cycle. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to thank the Honorable Minister for his vision for inviting the Ministry of Finance to have this policy dialogue quarterly. We hope that other players would institute similar dialogues on different subjects, including Galamsey, even soccer, right? Football, our football challenges that the country faces, that through dialogue such as these, we can find homegrown solutions. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the management of the University of Ghana and the Vice Chancellor, who couldn't be here because she had to travel at short notice, I welcome you all to the University of Ghana, and I hope we have a great interaction today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Awandari. Please put your hands together one more time for him. OVC, when you mentioned that we should have a conversation about Galamsey, I was a bit worried because there are different kinds of Galamsey, you know. What I'm doing here technically is called Galamsey. So that one, there's no problem with it of the problem. Because he trained a lot of the business journal from the keynote speaker. Our keynote address is from the Member of Parliament for Etiwa East, who's also Minister of State. We are happy she was in the economics department here at the University of Ghana. We're very proud of her. Finance, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the Honorable Abuna Osei Asari to bring us the keynote address from the organizing partner, which is the Ministry of Finance. Please do put your hands together one more time.
Deputy Minister for Finance, Dr. Ampabeng, the Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana representing the Vice Chancellor, Professor Awandari, I hope I got the name correct, distinguished faculty members present from the University of Ghana, representatives from civil society, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'd like to welcome us all to this inaugural session of our quarterly economic roundtable hosted by the University of Ghana. It is a privilege to stand before a distinguished gathering of scholars and practitioners who share common commitment to our nation's advancement. I extend to you regards from the Honorable Minister for Finance, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, who has to urgently attend to an equally critical engagement on the economy elsewhere in China. As a former student of the economics department, it is a great delight to be back here. By its very nature, a roundtable reflects the intellectual camaraderie and mutual learning encouraged in a university like this, where diverse perspectives converge, ideas exchanged freely, and solutions nurtured collectively. Today's theme, restoring macroeconomic stability, is both timely and crucial. We get together at uncertainty and challenges that demand our collective intellect and ingenuity. We at the Ministry of Finance are acutely aware of the pressing issues that we face, from inflationary pressures and fiscal imbalances to exchange rate volatility and debt sustainability. We understand that these are not just numbers on a spreadsheet, but real challenges that impact the lives of our fellow citizens, and this forum is in recognition of these realities. We are also in a time where there's a great call for more action and less talk, but it is important to state that while action is needed, indeed paramount, theory and practice is not merely advantageous, but essential for shaping policies that are not only effective, but also sustainable in the long run. To echo my minister's oft-quoted remark, we always do better when we work together. It's also in that regard that I sincerely thank the University of Ghana for partnering with the Ministry of Finance in this national endeavor. We're really grateful. As we gather here today, I humbly invite questions today have the power to spark innovative solutions, inspire change, and is timely and relevant. Ghana faces significant challenges, and yet within these lie opportunities for lasting reforms and change. Before we delve into our discussion, I believe that it is important to candidly assess our current situation. Over recent years, Ghana has experienced volatility in several key economic indicators. Inflation has been uncomfortably high. Our currency has faced depreciation pressures, and fiscal deficits have been quite wide. These have been exacerbated by external factors such as fluctuations in global commodity prices and the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Against this backdrop, that currencies of about 125 emerging and developing economies, including ours, is now 17% weaker on the average than they have been in the past 10 years. It is refreshing to note, however, that the macroeconomic backdrop for today's discussion is improving. Growth is robust. Yesterday's joint press briefing bore ample testament to how we have staged the course of reform under the PCPEG program, causing the IMF to revise our growth rate from 2.8% to 3.1%. I am confident that our steadfast commitment and results are what underpin the restoration of confidence as a call to action. To share a few points, I will say that the foundation of macroeconomic stability is fiscal discipline. We are committed to implementing stringent fiscal policies to reduce for protecting the purchasing power of Ghanaians. And the Bank of Ghana continues to pursue prudent monetary measures to deal with this. In order to reduce our vulnerability to external shocks, government has continued to encourage private investment in key sectors and technology through its flagship programs, such as the Planting for Food and Jobs, the One District, One Factory, among others. Boost exports and enhance our economic resilience. Ladies and gentlemen, a stable financial sector is very important for overall economic stability. We are therefore committed to implementing regulatory reforms to bolster the resilience of our financial institutions, ensuring the soundness of banks and other financial institutions will protect savings, promote investment, and support sustainable economic growth. Finally, economic stability must translate into improved standards of living for all Ghanaians. Government will continue to strengthen our social protection programs to support the most vulnerable, not just a policy objective, but a moral imperative. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this roundtable presents more than just a platform for policy pronouncements. It is an invitation for the exchange of diverse perspectives on our economy. We welcome different viewpoints as it is through constructive discussions like this that we arrive at the most effective solutions. Your role in this is invaluable, and as your expertise is very much needed to guide our policies, the policies that we shape. We have set an achievable goal, that is to restore macroeconomic stability. It requires commitments, strategic policy making, and collective will of our nation. Let us strive to make this moment count in an effort to build a more resilient economy. As I end and to make it change mindset on the economic management. So on behalf of the entire Ministry of Finance, we'd like to express our gratitude to you all, especially to Dr. Nikwe Kusowa, who is serving as the keynote speaker for today. We are confident that together with all the experts and discussants on the various panels, they will shape in our perspective and shape our choices. Together, let us forge ahead in collective action to steadfast build together a nation strong in unity of mind and strength of arm, whether night or day, in mist or storm, in every need, wherever the call may be, to serve thee, Ghana, now and forever. On this note, I'd like to thank you all and wish us all very fruitful deliberations. God bless Ghana and God bless us all. Thank you.
Oh, come on. I think this was a great speech. Wow. I like the quote at the end. Very powerful. I think one of the things that makes Legon great is that it's training all these people who are very happy to come back, you know, credible partner. I think we should put hands together for the university and for ISA as a credible partner. We are streaming live on the Ministry of Finance social media handles. We're also streaming live on Think News Online and other portals. So those of you who are watching us online, harvest them as the program proceeds. A few more quick introductions, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to introduce briefly for an acknowledgement the coordinating director for operations at the Ministry of Finance, Mrs. Stella Williams. Please give us a wave. Thank you. And we also have the director of budget, Mr. Isaac Freku, also here with us. And then I believe I saw Mr. Sam Arkhurst, who's the director of treasury and debt management division, Ministry of Finance. Oh, he's all the way at the back. Put your hands together for him. Mr. Arkhurst will be on the panel on debt. And he also graduated from economics department, early 90s. I think Peter Kote is your mate. Well, yeah, it's powerful. Now, Lebanon is a beautiful place. The only reason I don't want to come is I'm afraid I can't come and you don't do well to be all over. So, but one thing wants me to come back. So, we are still praying for grace. But it's a beautiful university. We're so proud of this place. And I want to encourage more students. I'm even surprised the room is not full because we didn't have a lot of this in our day. I can see lecturers, I can see people from different departments. If you're a master student or level 400, you should be in this room. But this is very powerful. All right, let's go to our keynote speaker. I'll just give you two quick things about him based on what I have, and then he will speak to us. So he, of course, is an economist, studied both in Ghana and Canada. Some of his areas of interest include monetary theory, applied policy, economic policy management, and applied econometrics. And of course, he's previously served as DG of SEC, and he's currently the country director for the International Goods Center in Ghana. We're so privileged to have Dr. Nikwa Kusowa, our keynote speaker, to talk to us on restoring macroeconomic stability, to give us food for thought for our 3 panel. Please help me welcome Dr. Nikwa Kusowa.
Dialogue is good. It is long overdue. And for agreeing to have which fund research, particularly if the intent of the research is to fit into policy. An organization which is based in working with the Ministry of Finance in that direction. For the past 9 years, we've had regular seminars at the Ministry of Finance to disseminate research findings from some of those people that we sponsored. There is a standing agreement between the two of us on that. We are working with the Office of the Head of the Civil Service, the Ministry of Trade, and so many other units in town, trying to take research from the university and give it to the policymaker to use for the good of the country. Colleagues, I think if we want the dialogue to be beneficial to all of us, then it must be devoid of any political underpinnings. We are talking for Ghana, period. I have with it is the word restoring. Because to the best of my knowledge, we've not actually had macro stability. I can't remember when we actually had sustained macro stability. We may have it 1 year, but the next year is gone. So, macro stability is actually rare in Ghana. The past couple of years have seen most macro indices exhibiting some worrying trends and headed in undesirable directions. The budget deficit has ballooned. There's a huge debt overhang. Inflation has been stuck in the double-digit zone. Balance of payments is misaligned. And the exchange rate has been unstable in the wrong direction. Everyone is complaining. If you are not complaining, then you haven't left your house. As soon as you get on the street, you begin to complain. And like I said, we have not had sustainable macro stability before. You know that when the ECOWAS zone decided that they were going to have a common currency, among the convergence criteria is sustainable macro stability. And that alone can explain to you why we don't have the ECU still as the currency. Maybe if we had had macro stability long ago, we would have had the ECOWAS currency. No, we haven't. And in fact, actually, that is so for English-speaking West Africa especially. None of us have had, except Gambia for about 5-year period, Gambia had stable macro stability. But Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Ghana, never. The Francophone, of course, were on a different program altogether. So they met the criteria much earlier than the Anglophones. This means that we must really work to understand why we have the macro instability and prefer solutions that can be long-lasting. IMF bailout is not a solution. IMF bailout is emergency surgery. You had a problem, you call the doctor in, he decides to cut your food, this time, not hair. So that is what we must understand. In order, because of the way I saw the panel set up, I changed the style of presentation slightly because otherwise we'll have repetitions from session to session. So much of what I will be doing will be to actually lay out the macro framework and how the macro framework, things move within the macro framework. So that then when we get into the panels, there'll be the opportunity for the panels to bring out the details of issues and then discuss things in a more lively manner. In simple terms, macro instability is usually the case where the demand for goods and services by governments emerge. And if the rise in the general level of prices becomes persistent and begins to depreciate, that's one of the weaknesses you will find from that. Then there's misallocation of resources in the economy. You find that businessmen don't know how to make their plans very well because nothing is stable. Everything was in short supply. There's also that in terms of macro management, most of the time the macro managers deal with the known things that they see. But there are several unknown and unpredictable things hitting the economy. And this affects the behavior of your macro. We didn't plan for a COVID came. We didn't do anything to cause the US subprime problem. It hit us. Like even discussing LGBTQ can affect your market. Somebody who doesn't like the tone of your voice will immediately after LGBTQ being abolished and so on, if he has an influence with a rating agency, I'm not saying that's what happened, but before you realize that rating agency can downgrade you, nobody will be willing to give you debt again. So, these things can be troublesome. Sorry. So these things can happen.